So in this video, I'm going to talk about the slope shader, which is going to help tremendously with our pin placement. The reason we want to do this is that the GSPro ball physics were updated right around the same time as this video. And if you place a pin on a fairly steep slope on your green, your people are going to hate you, okay? Because they're going to putt, they're just going to tap it, and just going to roll away from the pin. And next thing you know, they have a 10-foot putt after they just had a 2-foot putt. All right, and how we get around that and how we kind of home in our pin placement is through the use of this slope shader. You're going to use it once, you're going to build your course, you're going to place your pins, and then you're going to come back in Unity and disable it again, and then build your course again with the normal shader. And I'm going to show you that. So inside of Unity, this is, our first 2 holes that we're doing. So we only have 2 greens, but the same procedure if you have 18 greens, okay? So this is the green on hole number 1 for this Rock Creek course. And all I'm gonna do is highlight the green. So I've got my green highlighted, it says green up here, and it's a dual text green material at this point, okay? All we're going to do to enable the shader is we're going to come down here into this shader area. So we got our dual text green. We're going to highlight this and we're going to go up here to slope heat map. And we're going to click it. And now as soon as we do that, we're going to get this kind of tie-dye type thing over here, which is going to tell us that anything at red is a slope of 1.5 degrees. Okay, so we really don't want to put anything in the red area as far as pins go. And I should also note that as soon as you did this, all of your greens get that slope shader because we assign the shader to this material, and that impacts every place we have that material. So every place we have a dual text green, it now has a slope heat map. So let's go over to this one. This looks a little bit more interesting. And depending on how challenging you want to be, some people raise this to 2. And if you do that, so my greens on this course are fairly flat. If you've got challenging greens, you might want to try this between 1.5 and 2. I'm going to keep it at 1.5 for this course because the greens are fairly flat. So really there's just a couple areas here I want to avoid. So all the green and yellow areas. So I've got a lot of, I can put the pin just about anywhere on this one. And let me go back up to this other hole because that one looked like a little bit more challenging. Yeah, so it looks like this one slopes off quite a bit more. So I would probably want to place a pin here, maybe here. Let me change this to 2. I think I'm going to keep it at 2. Yeah, that's not too bad. I'm going to actually 1.5 again. So I'm going to keep things, a pin here, maybe a pin here. That's too far. But you're going to see, we're going to build the course with this, and then we're going to put it into Greenkeeper for a pin placement. And then once you're done, you're going to come back here again, change this back to the shader it was at before, in my case, the OPCD tool texture, and then we'd have to build the course again to put it inside the game because we don't want the game to show that slope map, right? So we're just going to enable it once, go in the Greenkeeper. So I'm going to keep this turned on because I want to show you what it looks like in Greenskeeper. So let me turn on that slope map. I'm going to leave it at 1.5. You're going to have to adjust this on what your greens look like. You just want to make sure you've got some areas that aren't red. If everything is red at 2, say you change this to 2 and everything's red, you probably need to flatten out or do some work on your greens using like the Unity digging tools and flatten those out a little bit. Otherwise, they're just going to be too hard.